posting?
No, we have not.
Okay.
But we had discussed it, but really didn't have an idea to put forward as to other places to search.
One of the things,
I'm sorry. I thought I gave a list to Chris, and he said he actually contacted.
So it's sort of a separate question. So the Principal Search Committee did try to reach out to multiple recruiting agencies, and the feedback that we got back from them was that these recruiting agencies were more targeted toward the recruiting of EDs and not the recruiting of principals.
Yeah, just maybe a couple ideas. I think you can always advertise in the paper and on the the post where these positions happen. But I think we should, the committee should consider alternative means, such as identifying the best 100 principals in the state and phone calling all of them or sending them an email. Right? We want a great one. Employing our network of who we know are great, and then if recruiters are not in this business, I think I understand, but I would assume there probably are some recruiters in this business as well. Is that?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
I did give Chris a name of one that actually does, but I know Chris, he actually went on vacation, and so I think he tried to get in contact with them, but I think it was kind of...
Yeah, we did reach out to them in the August timeframe when a number of people were on vacation, so maybe when we reconvene, or even beforehand, that we can reach out to these recruiters again now that the school year is in session and people have returned from vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I think talent scouts is probably something we need to use in the football analogy to, let's target some people that are great fits that, potentially we know. And if the community has ideas around this, they can certainly funnel those to the recruiting task force. Just some
if it's any
ideas.
help at all, one of my 8th graders offered to fill in.
I think we'll consider all candidates.
As long as we're not violating law about trying to find a candidate to convince to apply, I would think we're not.
Roger, I can give you the name of that
I
company.
don't think so.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
Yeah, please send that
maybe
to me.
ethics types of things.
Okay.
Ethically.
Okay. Anything else on the principal recruiting update?
I think as long as we're continuing to have constant updates. I know that the email that came out, I think, was very helpful. Parents were probably wondering if we're going to have a principal anytime soon, so I think that was very good.
Dr. DeMello, just maybe, I've been out, but how is the school handling the lack of a principal right now? Who's doing those duties?
It's a collaborative effort.
Okay.
I mean, officially, I'm serving as acting principal.
Okay.
Technically on paper for things, but it's a team effort. We've collaborated between, Rick Porter, who's an experienced principal, Mike McIntyre, our student services administrators, fantastic. And we have additional support people that have all picked up the ball. It would be too big of a list of names to go through, but I can tell you that, I think folks know that it's just the way it goes. People pick up the ball here and they run with it. And if they know that something needs to be done, they take care of it.
Yeah.
And they're very supportive like that. And so that was one of the reasons, because I was asked about whether or not we should hire an interim principal in the meantime. And if it comes to October, I'm not afraid to say this isn't working and we're going to need to pull somebody in. But right now, my sense is that for a short term, because I don't think we do it long term for sure, but for a short term, I think that we'll be able to manage with everybody picking up the slack a little bit, and I'd rather do that and save some money so long as I know that we are still able to be efficient and that the quality of education is not in any way compromised.
Okay. Thank you. The next and last item of chair's business was an update on the collective bargaining agreement. So the union was certified, and that it is the board's responsibility to negotiate a contract for the faculty with the board, with the union, and it's our responsibility to appoint a task force so that when that process begins, the board can discharge that duty. And I would like to to appoint Tom and Allison to that task force, and I think you all should have the feeling that you can pull whichever board members in that you need for assistance with that task as it gets bigger. But I think 2 at this point will be sufficient until the activities pick up. And any volunteers out there that want to help Tom and Allison will certainly need the help later on. I know that before we move to the executive director's update, I did want to mirror the comments made earlier that the interim ED task force did a gargantuan job. And, I heard from people that they felt like that was their full-time job, and the one they got paid for was kind of sidelined. And maybe that was from all 3 of you, I don't know, but I appreciate all the work, and I know the school community does, and the board does, so thank you, from the bottom of our hearts for all that hard work.
Thank you. If I could just add an update, the collective bargaining, I know that the teachers have met and they have selected some teachers to be on the negotiating committee.
Okay.
So I think they will be ready to get started fairly soon.
Okay. And then before I turn it over to Dr. DeMello, I just did, I know she's been introduced, but I did want to say welcome.
Thank you.
And we wish you all success, and the board really wants to make sure that we're supporting you in any way that you ask. So please don't be shy. And it feels like the parent community and the teachers have all given you a warm welcome too, so I'd like to thank those 2 communities for doing the same. And then I'll turn it over to you for your first executive director report. And perhaps in a future executive director report, you could update us on your experience in Antarctica, which was on your resume. I don't know if it came out in the interviews, but you did. Oh, okay, well, not too many people have been to Antarctica.
There's a slideshow and everything.
No. So welcome and
Thank
floor is
you.
yours.
And I do feel very lucky to have had that experience, and I would be more than willing to do a slideshow many times, for sure. I do want to start by thanking everybody. It's been
Move the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're really close. Thank you.
Is that working? For me, it's been a terrific start. People have been unbelievably supportive. Some of those people are in the audience tonight, Sarah Snow and Nancy Konitsky, if I get it right, among others. And I'm so appreciative of that because I'm on, what am I on, day 8 or something? I don't know, but it feels like in some ways 2 months, and in other ways like yesterday, and I still don't have a clue. I'm a little afraid because I don't know what I don't know yet, but it will all work out, I hope. So what I'd like to do is bring everybody up to speed on what's been happening the first couple of weeks since I got here. So let me start. So last week, it really has gone fast. I forgot about last week was the first full week when teachers reported, and I wonder if we should stop. Sorry, the vacuums are kicking on. We started off with Teacher Orientation Week, and that was led by Mark Weidel, and he did an incredible job helping to coordinate what the teachers were going to do for the week. Some of you may or may not be aware of the fact that there are a lot of mandatory meetings that need to take place and mandatory videos and trainings that need to take place for teachers. So that was taken care of. We had technology trainings. We also had a mentor induction for our new teachers. One day, I think this was a new event, we had grade 6 students, 90 of them actually came for Mentor Day, and we had 70 of our upperclassmen students come and mentor them and kind of take them around to help them with the transition. So I think that was a pretty successful new activity that we ran. We also had a lot of reorganization. When I came on, there were a lot of concerns around some of the spacing issues, and we needed new offices for some new positions we had put in place. So, Eric Lane and Sean Kessler did a great job of making sure that all of these offices were relocated, and so now guidance counselors and the main office had increased confidentiality spaces. We had a new space for the teacher's lounge, which had been really quite small in the upper school, and we were able to give them a bigger space for that. So I wanted to thank them, and also all of the people who were involved in the move, because the last minute, somebody walks in, and, the rule is don't ever change anything for when you first come in, and it was like day 2, and I was asking them to move their spaces, and they were really cooperative, so I want to thank all the folks involved in, who were impacted by that. A little bit with guidance also, I want to thank Lisa Bruce, Mike Lebowski, and their guidance team, sorry about that, for all of their hard work also in making sure that we had a smooth start. They had tremendous loads for scheduling, for duties that were being assigned, that there was a whole other team of folks that made sure they took care of all the outside duties. And so that really has helped to make that first week and this opening incredibly successful. And so I want to thank all those folks. So that brings us sort of to this week and what was happening. So Monday, as you know, we had grade 6 orientation. So the 6th graders came. They were all greeted in the cafeteria, and they were, of course, adorable and a little bit scared, but also a lot excited. And we made sure that they learned how to, work their locks and all of those things that create anxiety. More than anything, it's the question like, where's the bathroom, and when can I ask for permission for something? Do you need to raise your hand? And what about my uniform and my phys ed days and all of those kinds of things? And so we took care of that for them. I think they had a great day. Tuesday, full day opening, all hands on deck, and I think it went really smoothly. Specific to busing, we had, folks may not notice, we have both regional busing and Marlboro busing that's going well. So this year, AMSA received a 6th bus. I guess we've been functioning locally on 5 buses, and it's my understanding from Ann Richards, who's done a tremendous job really just managing this whole busing situation. And it's my understanding we've been asking for one for quite a while, and now we have one. So that's really helped to ensure that we have appropriate seating for all the students. So we're also going to be watching the ridership, and we'll know more in September, but things look pretty good right now. Similar to that, I also want to mention, I was chatting today, I met some of the local police officers, and we recognize that right now there is a bit of a backup in traffic out here in the morning and also in the afternoon pickup. Particularly, I think they were mentioning in the afternoon pickup a little bit more than usual. I hope people recognize that some of that has to do with the first couple of days, students making sure they get on the right bus. I know we had to hold the buses a little bit the first and second day as we were trying to make sure that the routes were right. We didn't want them leaving without any students. So we had to be careful for that. And also that most students are going home now. But as we start to open up our activities again, I think I've heard estimates at like 40% of kids may be after school and staying, so the pickup times will then get staggered. So I'm hoping that will impact the traffic. So please know that we're watching it, and if it's still a problem after 2 or 3 weeks, then we're going to revisit it, because we did have to make some changes to how we do the routes this year to allow for additional parking down in our for our seniors for their parking. So. Our lunch program continues to evolve, and the lunch orders have increased so far over some of what was taking place last year. So we're going to continue to watch that, and I'll report on that as things change. Add and drop-off period, people may be interested in that in terms of coursework. It's going smoothly. It started with seniors and juniors, which have made this process a little bit more efficient, I think, this year than in the past. Classes are all underway, and the add-drop period will last for the first 2 weeks of school. And so, again, the seniors and juniors for the last 3 days have been working to make sure that their schedules are all set, and some of them being placed in their priority classes. And then freshmen and sophomores begin their drop-add period. I think today, actually, they started it. Am I right on that, do you know? I think so, yes. Yeah. Specific to safety, when I came on board, I have walked the buildings with Eric Lane and Mark Anderson. I can say I'm very impressed. We have a really, I think they've done a great job of making sure that this place is safe and tight for students if we ever would have an emergency. Additionally, we also ran fire drill today. In fact, we tried something a little different. I pulled a couple of students out early, so they were missing. and happy to report that it was picked up at our location, and everybody was, reported missing, which is exactly what we wanted, so I feel happy about that. And we'll be continuing to do these and collaborate with the fire and the police for a variety of scenarios throughout the year. I think people have probably had some interest in the Plus Portal system, which was unveiled to teachers. And it allows for better communication. I think it's the hope compared to Edline that was being used. And so, but of course, the next part is, well, as a parent, when do I get to see it? And so it's coming. We had to transport data into it, and so we started with getting our teachers all up to speed. I think initially we had some problems where the parent company, Rediker, maybe used some of our old data instead of new data. But Judy Wing did a terrific job of making sure that she made all the corrections for us, and we anticipate later next week to be able to open it up to parents and students, and if we're lucky, even earlier in the week. So if you want to see a little bit of a demo, you can go to rediker.com. That's Rediker, rediker.com, and you can watch a little bit of a tutorial, I believe, for it. And if when we open it up, if you run into problems, please know that you can contact Judy Wing, and she'll make any corrections that we may need if your email, for some reason, isn't working when this opens up. I did want to announce the new teachers that have come on board. There have been some changes, so we have Samantha Sanborn, who's a long-term English substitute. I hope I don't get this wrong. Jinyasa Gupta, who's a computer science teacher. David Olano, a Spanish teacher. Maria Flores, a Spanish teacher. Stephen Young, a new history teacher. Caitlin Talley, English teacher. Maria Delano, reading evaluator. Ralph Bono, or Bono, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, ABA professional. Mary Jane Kuslik, ABA professional. Ken Noble, computer science teacher. Raquel Gelber, a Spanish teacher. Catherine Jenkin, a history teacher. Jeremy Morris, a long-term engineering teacher. Edward Pancoast, a long-term math substitute. I apologize if I did not do a good job with somebody's name. I've been trying to get around to as many people to learn them, but I confess I'm a little bit behind on a few of the new folks. Another question I think that's been coming up from parents is the virtual book fair with Barnes & Noble. That's begun. Parents can order their books online or in store, and know that a portion of the sales is donated back to AMSA to be earmarked for student activities. Facilities update. The facilities department, we fell a little bit behind with some of the changes that I was requesting for office space. But we now have the list of 150 requests down to only 50 requests. So I can tell you that Eric and Sean have been working really hard to accommodate teachers and their needs. We're implementing a new delivery entrance at the rear of the building, so some of the boxes that you may have been used to seeing when you walked in from receiving, we've now moved that downstairs, so hopefully that will also help clear not only a little bit of the clutter in the main lobby, but also improve safety. Also, over the summer, the building, we had repairs to the HVA system in the lower schools, so some of the fluctuations that were happening, I guess, in temperature that were causing some concern, hopefully should be rectified, and I think we've already noticed some of the changes for staff that's in that building right now. It's much more pleasant. You may also notice that out in front of the lower school, there were an awful lot of bushes and shrubs before, and we were thinking about having them pruned back, and I guess I requested that from the landlord. But it was just determined that they were so overgrown, it was just better to pull them out than to continue to maintain them. So they've been pulled, and that has been hydro-seeded. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, we're going to see some nice green spaces out front. And I know that also was, in speaking with the police today, made them happy, because I think it's nice to feel it's a little bit safer that students can be seen and they're not behind the bushes anymore, so so to speak. And hopefully that helps with some stuff. So overall, the facilities, I think, are being